Somebody forgot to tell Pennsylvania's most famous prognosticating rodent that he only forecast 6 more weeks of winter. This snow in the middle of March is getting a little old, but we're back to balmy skies and sunny forecasts here in central Pennsylvania anyway, and we move on to better things. President Trump announcing yet another set of tariffs, and the markets reacting, as you might have expected, plummeting. Today down more than 750 points, or roughly 750 points in midday trading the day after the announcement. And as we have discussed before, tariffs are a tax. They simply don't work. And a trade war is not something we ought to be ginning up at this stage of economic recovery. The economy is doing really well under the Trump tax cuts and deregulation. There's no reason to jam it up with unnecessary tariffs at this point. Some folks have talked about quotas as an alternative of dealing with the trade situation, but even that messes up the markets in ways that are classic examples of unintended consequences. Speaking of which, the Congressional Map here in Pennsylvania this week got a little bit more clear as the United States Supreme Court decided not to take up the appeals of Republican leaders over the state Supreme Court's redoing the congressional maps. So it looks like, at least for the time being, the congressional maps that the state Supreme Court of Pennsylvania redrew will stand at least for the 2018 and 2020 elections, after which they'll have to be redrawn anyway because the Constitution requires that following the decennial census. What that means is that there is still a lot of confusion over who lives in what district, etc. Primordial example, of course, is the 18th Congressional District in the famous special election of just a few days ago, which vanished into thin air. And neither Connor Lamb nor Rick Saccone live in that district, although it looks like Rick Saccone is going to run in the newly configured district in a matchup of the primary that wasn't, going against State Senator Guy Reschenthaler, who had challenged him in the conferee process and ultimately finished second. And Connor Lamb looks like he's going to be running against incumbent Keith Rothfuss in another newly created district on the western side of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. So across the state, more candidates than ever running for Congress, more women running for Congress, and presumably, if you listen to the folks that love the new maps, more competitive elections. So we'll have to see, but Pennsylvania, again, looking like the epicenter of the midterm elections, which historically have not treated the party in the White House all that well. So Pennsylvania will be key to watch over the course of the next few months. And of course, we're in March Madness, where the Villanova Wildcats head to Boston for Friday night's matchup with West Virginia. By the time you see this, that outcome will be determined. It is a haberdasher's dream as a matchup of coaches. Bob Huggins, the sartorially resplendent sweat-suited guy, against GQ Wright, and we'll have to see how that comes out. But I know where I'll be and who I'll be rooting for. Go Cats. And that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.